Welcome to Sisters Voices. My name is Karen Akusu Adade. Today we are speaking to Mawulawoe Anato-Dumelo from the Network of Women in Growth. Could you please tell our listeners who you are and what you do for your organization?
Hi, Karen, and hello, everyone. My name is Mawulawoe Anato-Dumelo. I'm the Executive Director of the Network of Women in Growth, an NGO that focuses on helping women and girls from marginalized communities.
Could you please tell us what Network of Women in Growth does? If you could please go into details to tell us some of the work and the programs that your organization offers.
Network of Women in Growth was formed in 2002 with the aim of helping women to gain employable skills and also for them to start their own businesses, to give them a level of empowerment as women. From 2002, our focus was on training women in basically the vocational skills. We were more focused on skills in fashion designing, tie-dye, catering, things that women would normally be found doing. So it would be batik, tie-dye, catering, bakery, hat making. So that was what our focus was on. Apart from that, we also give women who have started their own businesses, we give them advice on how to run their businesses. But for 5 years now, we've also turned our focus to more male dominated areas, such as training women to gain skills in driving. And currently, we are training some young ladies to gain some skills in the building and construction sector. So basically, what we've been doing over the years is just to give women the skills that will make them empowered economically, for them to grow and become better in all spheres of their lives. So that's what we've been doing from 2002 up till now. We also have a business side of the organization where we produce soap and body products, and we sell that to sort of internally generate funds for the organization.
Thank you so much for that. That is a lot of work that you do for the women in the communities that you work in, and you have been doing this work for quite a while.
Yes.
Um, could I ask then, how has the community reacted generally to the cause and the mission of Network of Women in Growth?
The feedback has been very positive, and for us at Network, we are not focused in one community. We work across Ghana. So we've worked with even the women in the witches camp. We've given them training before. So we don't just work in specific communities. We work across every community in Ghana, wherever we can reach. And the feedback has been very, very positive in terms of the women who have gained skills and are able to start their own businesses in soap making and even in fabric designing. So for us at Network, we are very much excited by the positive feedback that we have received from the communities that we have worked in.
Thank you so much for that as well. You talk about working in a range of communities, and as you talk about the work that you do, it seems that you cover a lot of broad areas in terms of how you support women and financially and with skills as well. Could you tell us some of the daily trials and triumphs that come with working in the organization that you do and doing the work that you do to support underprivileged women?
I think for us, we are very much excited when we see the women that we have trained starting their own businesses and being economically empowered. We've supported women who are living with HIV/AIDS by giving them skills in order for them to be able to start businesses on their own and to be able to even work with the women in the witches camp. It's just exciting to hear some of the positive feedback from that place where women are able to earn a living, to be able to take care of themselves. And more excitedly is the young ladies that we work with in terms of training them with skills in the male dominated area. We have people who come in and they have the mindsets that they cannot do this, or even sometimes some of the girls come in and they get some sort of negative backlash from their guardians. But with time, when they start the program and they are able to look within themselves and identify that strength within themselves and see what they are doing as women, even in male dominated areas, we see the joy on their faces. We see how their guardians are giving us positive feedback because they thought their daughter couldn't do this, but now their daughter has the skills and is doing it. And we are excited by that because that is what we seek to do, to make a change and to break the gender stereotypes that we have put on careers. So every person we train, every beneficiary of ours, and the stories they tell us is a triumph for us and it's a victory for us.
Thank you so much for that. It's very heartwarming to hear how the work you do changes the lives of women in the communities that you work in. You've described to us, the scale of the work that you do, and I can imagine that it's very difficult work. And in recent times with the COVID-19 pandemic, I think that the work that you do must have met a few challenges as well. Could you tell us how the pandemic has impacted the programs and the interventions, the network of women in growth office?
Wow, COVID really affected us. So we are based in the Volta region, and some of the programs that we do over there was mentorship and outreach programs, and especially for the mentorship programs, we focused on the junior high schools and the senior high schools. But because of COVID, we had to put a stop to our programming because, like there was a lockdown, and even after the lockdown was lifted, there were a lot of limitations that came into play. Also, with some of our programs, we had to do sensitization workshops that allowed us to have interactions with people in person. But because of COVID, we couldn't do such in person programs just because of COVID. So it really affected us, and some of the programs we were offering had to be put on hold till things subsided. So COVID really slowed us down. It really slowed us down as an organization, and we couldn't reach our young ladies that we normally would talk to, or we normally would meet with them to give them mentorship programs. So that was really a big blow to us, especially in 2020.
Thank you for that as well. I will ask one final question. What are some of the ways anyone listening can help or support the work that you do?
One way we'll talk about it, obviously, is funding. We wish we could do more for our girls, especially with our mentorship programs. But sometimes we are limited. Because when you go to some of these communities, they don't just want you to come and talk and go. They are expecting something in return. And all these things, we have to use money to purchase it for them in order to, as a way, motivate them to be part of the program. So apart from that, we also would enjoy having some sort of volunteering. Because like I said, in these mentorship programs, it would be nice to have women from different classes of society speak to these young girls to motivate them, to let them understand that they can be better and they are better, and they can move beyond their present circumstances and reach within themselves to be the strong women that they have to become. So for us at Newe, first obviously will be funding, and another thing will be volunteering, so that we can expand our mentorship programs beyond just where we are in a community and do it across other parts of the countries. Because, like I say, if you empower a woman now, she becomes the empowered woman in the future. It is better we catch them young than to wait for when they are older. So that's why at Newe, we don't just focus on women, we also focus on the young girls. And we don't do that alone. We also try to pull along the men or the young boys, because in order to change society, we also have to change the boys as well, because they form a part of the society. So in our mentorship programs, the boys are also in there when we are doing the mentorship programs. And then we call on partnerships, we call on funding, we call on volunteers in order to move us forward as an organization, because we don't want to stop. We want to stay and do more for our society and for our network of women.
Thank you so much for all of this. It's been very insightful. It has been an honor having you on this podcast to tell us the work that you do and to shed more light on the interventions that your organization does in the communities that you work in.
And thank you so much, Karen. Thank you so much, AWDF, for the support you have given to Network of Women in Growth. We always say that AWDF is part of our success story. So it's a joy to share how far we've come, because we couldn't have done this without the support of organizations such as AWDF. So thank you so much for your time as well, Karen.
You're very welcome.